The inevitable gloves were dropped this week, and the anticipated verbal sparring began in earnest between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Why wait for the convention when the entertainment is already ready and primed for the 24/7 news cycle? For the candidate on the right, it's all about the pivot and ensuring that every negative from the last 30 years of his opponent is back on full display, pounding home the platitudes and the promises, trying to make believe that people know that the reset is the one that will last. For the candidate on the left, it's all about counterpunching, staying on the issues, seeking to be looked at as the adult in the room, and trying to make people forget about nagging little things, I don't know, like FBI investigations. But here's a poser for the audience. Will any of this shouting and proclamating make any difference? We make the difference. Ask the expert on such matters, president of the M Network in Miami, Florida, veteran of the broadcast branding and advertising wars, the man who put the word humble back into play. Thom Mozloom joins us on the show.
Gosh,
always
thanks.
Nice to be humble. Very nice. I read it just like you went ahead and put it up there.
Yeah. Your diction was perfect.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's the broadcaster in me. The speeches this week. Let's just go ahead and start right there because we all knew this was coming eventually.
Yeah.
First of all, let me get your impression from that branding, image, getting it right, Donald Trump. What do you think?
Well, he needs to stay away from a teleprompter. I mean, that's just not his bag. He just doesn't do that very well. It's clear that he's reading, and it's not what we're used to. We're used to Donald just sort of riffing up there. And when he goes on to script and acts like a politician, he's not him anymore.
But isn't he real good, though, at the ad lib? Because as you noted, and we both saw this, he comes in, he reads. You can tell when he's reading.
Yes.
But then he comes in and he ad-libs. He drops a couple of Trumpisms in there, which seem to almost familiarize the entire thing. So you're not convinced. You're not buying it.
In fact, what I think happened is when he went off script, there were people backstage going, "No, stay on script."
Everybody was.
Because they desperately want to make Donald Trump into a prototypical politician, and he's just not. And that's not what the voters who support him because he's not a politician.
But would he not need to be at least prototypical in the presentation? Because we know that when he's off script, that's what people love. But in things like this, it's almost as if he has to have one persona and a second persona, and they'll eventually merge somewhere down the road.
I think that's dangerous. I think that he should, if he's going to use a prompter, it should be phrases and bullet points that guide him through and keep him in a narrative rather than the rambling Fidel Castro-like mess that he can sometimes get himself into.
I can hear people right now screaming just for the point that you put Fidel Castro in the same sentence.
Is that my Twitter blowing up back there?
No, that's your
Let me
phone
pour
blowing
some
up.
water on that.
We're making sure that there's nothing incendiary in that phone right now, brother. Now, on Hillary Clinton's side, the polished politician, the polished individual,
yep.
And she's the one who now is basically doing a little bit of the counterpunching. How do you think she handled it?
Well, these are two of the most unlikable human beings to ever run for the presidency, according to poll numbers. So it's not much she's going to do to get people to say, "See, I'm the adult in the room. See, this is why you like me." They're both sort of bottlenecked into my campaign is based on I'm not her. My campaign is based on I'm not him. So while she has to appear to be statesman-like, and that's going to be a tremendous temptation for her campaign to counter Donald Trump, to say, listen, he's an idiot. I'm the statesman. I have experience. I think it's going to be better for her to just go after him and keep going after him.
So as we move down the road, your advice would be, if they were asking, would be for Donald Trump, go back off script, stay on the attack, but for Hillary Clinton, stay the statesman role, and neither one of them gets sucked into the other side.
Right, and what she needs to do is be completely dismissive of Donald Trump's ideas rather than antagonistic, and laugh at some of the illogic behind some of his proposed policies and sort of make it into ludicrous. What he needs to do is he needs to just go negative early and just keep attacking.
Is it fair to say maybe that he needs to be the one to be told, don't take the bait? Because it would seem like he might be the first one to do it when something is set up there. I don't get the feeling that she would do that.
Oh, I think there's going to be a tremendous temptation for her to try to bait him into not going off, but acting like he's presidential, which is when he looks ridiculous and is at his worst. If he gets into a policy discussion of actual substance,
which he will have to sooner or later in debates,
he's done. If he could keep it personal, keep it pithy one-liners, and keep throwing the accusations, take every question at him and point out how Hillary's done a terrible job at exactly that, then she's going to be in trouble.
If they could just get Steve Harvey to host the debates and basically moderate it, they'd be perfect. A couple of minutes we got here. Let's talk about Marco Rubio. Absolutely, positively, by this time next year, I will either be president of the United States or I will be a private citizen, which is what he said at one point. But now he's back in it. How does he overcome all of the negatives that were tossed at him? Let's forget the fact that the Democratic challengers against him are already looked at as the kind of people that most individuals wouldn't want in office.
Yes.
People are saying that he's got a real leg up there. But how does he overcome everything that was thrown his way on the negative for a year?
No, I think that's perfect for him. It's all been vetted. It's old news. There's not going to be a new accusation. One of the brilliant things that happens when a candidate is in perpetual campaign mode is they're perpetually vetted. Look at Hillary Clinton. Every accusation that you can make against Hillary Clinton has pretty much already been made. I mean, notwithstanding a brand new scandal unforeseen right now, I mean, she's pretty much been vetted. Donald Trump is being vetted
as we speak.
Marco Rubio, all of the negatives out there. The only thing that he's going to have to overcome is, you said you weren't going to run and now you're going to run. But that's an easy spin. There's guys who've already written this.
He's already done that. Said they want me to come back.
I'm doing it for the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it not fair to say that in a situation when somebody says you did this, and by the way, you never showed up at the Senate, you said you didn't like it in the first place and you couldn't get anything done there, maybe he should say, you know, you're right. I said that. I was wrong. How come we never? That seems to me to be the perfect thing. Just accept it. Take it.
You know what would be far more refreshing? Is if he said, I'm not qualified to do anything else. This has been my whole life. I'm a senator, and I'm in it for the money. When I said I hated being a senator, I was trying to get elected to the presidents. That's what you're supposed to say.
You realize you've just taken it a little too far at this point, because telling them that you're in it for the money right now, people would go, okay, check mark. Alan Grayson would be sitting back there going, huzzah, he said it out loud.
I didn't say that it was going to work. I said, wouldn't it be refreshing if these guys started telling the truth?
But that's my
if they
point.
Actually gave the
just
answer.
accept it. Take it and say, yeah, that's exactly right. I said it at the time. It's not me
Sounded
now.
good on the campaign stump at the time.
Which we will never hear, because everybody's always afraid that then you get called a liar, you get called nothing more than you're pushing back. And
my branding guy wrote that for me.
Well, my branding guy said, say exactly that, and I get elected every time.
It was on the prompter.
Which he can read and does very well. Always a pleasure, my friend. By the way, go to mnetwork.com to learn more about what Thom does, and don't blow up his Twitter, please, because he really can't afford a second.